Lori and Chad Daybell. I don't know if you guys remember this case, but the trial for Lori Daybell is coming up on April 3rd. And we have so much to cover. This case was at the forefront of the media when it was happening, but there's been so many more things that have happened since they've even been arrested, and so many things that have been uncovered. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all of it. I'm going to make videos and I'm going to give you the breakdown of each and every part. This video is going to be a full timeline of the events. Now you have to remember that in each of these events, many things happened inside of them. It's kind of like when we have our folders on our computers. You have one main folder and then a subfolder and then subfolders inside of that. And that is how this case is. So while one thing happens, let's say Charles's death, there is a whole thing, probably 2 or 3 videos that we'll have to do on that. But I want you guys to be very prepared for when the case actually starts and goes to court. I'm really excited to work with a very specific creator, Stephanie. She is a lawyer here on TikTok. I'm going to tag her below to help us with the kind of legal aspects of this. And also, we both just love true crime. I know that you guys all pretty much know who she is, and we love her. She's so great, and she's so good at teaching and really helping us break down and understand the legal aspects of this. So let's get into it. We're going to start with like the very beginning, and we're going to go back to 1992 when Lori marries her first husband, Nelson Yates. He's her high school sweetheart, but their marriage doesn't last very long. One thing you have to understand about Lori is that she grew up in the LDS church. She was all about God, and she would even in fact say that things would happen to her because God told her it would happen to her. She put a lot of emphasis on her religious structure even from very early on. I'm also going to be making a full timeline diagram for you guys that I'm going to have available. I'll make a video on that as well, but I am going to have a Google Drive that you guys will have access to, and that link will be in my link tree in my bio, so you guys can kind of look at this for yourself on your own time when you want to. And there will also be many YouTube videos that I make, kind of more long form than even this, about this case and going into super great detail. So remember to subscribe to my YouTube so that you guys can really get the full picture. So now we're going to move to 1995. Lori marries her second husband, William LaJoya, and they have a child. His name is Colby, and he is Lori's eldest son. If you watch the Netflix documentary, The Sins of Our Mother, that is about this full case, which I highly recommend that you do to get ready for this trial, he is going to be the one that is kind of the narrator of this. They divorce shortly after again, and Lori gets married to her third husband, Joseph Ryan. Now, they have a daughter together. Her name is Tylee Ryan, and they were together for 3 years before they divorced in 2004. In 2006, one of Lori's clients from her salon introduces her to a man named Charles Vallow, and they end up getting married. Charles had 2 children from a previous marriage, and Lori had her 2 children from her previous marriages, Colby and Tylee. In 2013, Charles's sister has a grandson. His name is JJ, and Charles's sister, Kay, her son, whose child JJ is, he couldn't take care of him, so they asked Lori and Charles if they would adopt JJ, and they agreed. So now there are 5 kids total. Charles's 2 sons, Lori's 2 children, Tylee and Colby and JJ. Lori says that a spirit sister came to her and told her that they should move to Hawaii. Now, when Charles and Lori got married, he was not LDS, but he did love Lori so much that he converted into the LDS church. And he agreed, so they moved to Hawaii, specifically Kauai. While they were in Kauai, Lori made a few friends, and you'll see one of those friends talking in the documentary and kind of talking about Lori's belief systems and mental state while she was in Hawaii. And while she still was a very good mother at this point, from like 2013 to 2015, it very quickly started to go downhill in 2015. And in 2015 is when she got this message that they needed to move to Hawaii, and they moved to Hawaii. So from 2015 to 2018, that's where they lived. By all accounts, everybody kind of said that they were the perfect family and that they had the perfect relationship, Lori and Charles. But there was sometimes that Lori would confide into her friends and say that she was displeased with Charles because he wasn't on the same spiritual level that she was. He just wasn't as elevated spiritually, and he didn't understand the concepts as much as she did. And you have to remember, Charles just recently came into the LDS church, and he was very much trying, but she was kind of on her high horse that she was this awesome being, and Charles just wasn't. Also in 2015 is when Lori started to read Chad Daybell's books. He wrote books that were like doomsday fiction type of books, but while they were fiction books, he very much was trying to start his own following and own religion. Chad was a part of the LDS church as well. He even went on a mission trip, and when he came back from that mission trip, he went and was cliff diving, and he jumped off of the cliff and he hit some rocks on his way down, and he almost died, and he had a near-death experience, one of his 2 near-death experiences that he writes about. And he says after that, he brought back with him visions and the ability to see the future, and that he was a prophet. And this is where this kind of whole thing stemmed from, where he started to write these books that were fiction, but in actuality, he was really trying to recruit followers into what he believed and the fictional world that he created. Well, I guess to him it wasn't fiction, but yeah. Chad started writing these books in 2007. And another kind of significant thing that happens in 2007 is that Alex Cox, who is Lori's brother, he tries to unalive Joseph Ryan, Lori's 3rd husband. He did not succeed. He did tase him, and when he is a stand-up comedian, and in one of his stand-up performances jokes about how he tried to tase him in his downstairs area, in the groin area, and he was convicted of assault. So in 2015, this is kind of where everybody says Lori's relationship with her children that had been amazing prior starts to go downhill, and she starts to treat them differently. In 2018, the family moves back to Chandler, Arizona from Hawaii, and Lori meets Chad. Chad was speaking at a conference called Preparing a People, and Lori went to that conference. Lori brings the book up to a signing table for Chad to sign it, and this is where they first meet. And this is where it starts to get a little weird, because Chad starts to tell her that they lived many lifetimes together, they were married in many lifetimes, and that they were soulmates and they had a special connection. October 26th, 2018, Chad and Lori start to discuss their religious beliefs together and how it could justify getting rid of her children. Chad is also married to a lady named Tammy Daybell, and they have 5 kids together. So just to recap, at the time, Lori is married to Charles and Chad is married to Tammy. In early 2019, everything starts to go downhill, and this is when Charles goes to the police with his concerns and everything spirals. Part 2.